black swans have a 0.001% chance of happening. Black swans are very rare events. Why would I have to prepare for an event that might happen 1 in a million chance likelihood? All the data points to positive news. Why would I try to be safe when I know that the most optimal thing to do is to leverage up and then get as many gains as possible? FOMC on Wednesday proves my point that the only way you can prepare for an unknown, or in what I call an unknown importance, is by making sure that you are robust enough to handle it, that you are robust enough to make sure that you aren't hurt, and that maybe you can even capitalize on that volatility. On Wednesday, the markets were actually trending higher. Why? Because everyone was thinking that the FOMC, they're going to reduce interest rates by 0.25%. People were pricing that in because if you looked at the chance likelihood, it was like a 90-something% chance that they would reduce the interest rates by 0.25%. No one cared to look. No one thought that, oh, the Fed's gonna pull something out of their ass and then say, okay, well, yeah, we're dropping your interest rates by 0.25%, but we're also reducing the next year's interest rate cuts. And that was the black swan event. And I don't want to be the channel that just focuses on black swan events and just keeps telling you about black swan events, but this is something very important. And if you were actually leveraged up, I'm sure that a lot of people were leveraged way too high for this to occur, right? Look at this. And if you're leveraged up and then you're sold out, right? If you're on margin and whatever, and then your brokerage sells you out because you lost too much, your overall stock worth dropped so much that they had to cover their ass, then you weren't able to buy this dip that happened 2 days later. And in that case, then you lost all this money and you weren't able to buy back at the bottom. But if you were robust and you could take a few hits from the market, then this wasn't a buying opportunity. You could have actually made money on this and then still somewhat, not really break even, but like you'd still be able to profit or at least mitigate your losses by buying some stuff here with your extra funds if you were robust, if you weren't so fragile. The problem I have with all this talk about optimizing, you know that stat tree in video games, right? When you're optimizing something, it looks like an arrow. What I call the glass cannon, right? You get hit once and you're screwed. You might be doing really well before you get hit, but the moment you get hit, you're screwed. So you have to incorporate some amount of robustness, some amount of like a safety precaution when you are dealing with this stuff, or else you won't be able to capitalize on this movement. Volatility is nice. Volatility is what makes a lot of traders money. And if you were able to withstand this amount of pain and even enter in somewhere here, even anywhere on this green candle, you would have been able to mitigate some losses. You would have been able to profit a little bit. So that's what I'm saying when I say that black swan events may be rare, but they hurt a lot. People say you take the stairs up and then you take the elevator down. Why is that? Look at this. This erased all the gains from all the way back to here, November 5th. Is that, yeah, November 5th. The election. It erased a month and a half worth of gains. You could have been investing all the way here, right? You started investing here, you kept investing, and you could have lost all your money. So what took a month and a half for you to earn, you could have lost all in 2 days, in the span of 2 days. And if you were that leveraged to the point where your brokerage sold you out because you were getting margin called or whatever, you weren't able to capitalize on any of this gain, and maybe you would have lost down here, maybe you would have lost down here. You don't know. So I just keep having to like drill this point home that it's really important to stay robust, to make sure that when you're investing, I'm not telling you not to invest, I'm not telling you whatever, right? You can do whatever you want, but it's important to keep this idea of safety in mind, keep this idea of having some sort of nest egg that isn't affected by high volatility, that isn't affected by different things, right? You want decentralized points of failure, where you want to be in the scenario where if one of your eggs cracks, if one of your eggs is affected by something breaking in the economy, some part of the economy breaking, then the rest of your eggs are fine. So that's kind of what I just want to really drill home, because I think that that's really important. And I don't think people really realize, because we were in this state of euphoria after the election. There's just sudden state of euphoria. Everyone was winning, no matter what you threw your money in, it was still rising, right? And I just think that it's really important to keep that in mind. But this is just a short video that I wanted to really touch upon that and talk about the news of the market and basically what happened on Wednesday, and then also the recovery on Friday, right? Even the recovery on Friday, that was also technically a black swan event. No one expected it. In the morning of Friday, all stocks were down a lot. What did the Qs hit? I think the Qs hit like 405. Let me see. Yeah, 505. The Qs hit like 505-ish. Maybe 508, if I'm reading this chart right. Yeah, like around 508. From 540, from the top of 540, it hit 508. That's a lot. That is a lot. And from 508, it jumped up 2% to 520-ish. Almost 525, I think. So that's also a black swan event. You can always guess what the market's going to do. You can look at data, you can look at data points, you can look at trend lines, you can look at TA, you can look at the whatever you want, but you don't know what the market's going to do. You have to let the market decide, and then you have to be prepared for whatever the market throws at you, because the market can be batshit crazy at times. So that's all I wanted to talk about. Yeah. Hope you did well this week. Hope you were safe. Hope you didn't get too affected by whatever happened and the swings of the market, right? You just have to be used to the volatility and be prepared for it. And also maybe you can capitalize on it, right? If things drop too low, maybe you can expect a rebound. If things go too high, maybe you can expect a correction. So that's all I want to talk about. Have a good day.